Edition of News 2, I'm Sandra Gamansing. Senator Hansen is pushing to have the government give residents and businesses who owe them money a break if those same people are waiting on checks from the government. News 2's Erica Parsons has more on that story.
I think it's just a common sense approach to the suffering and the pain of business people and individuals.
Senator Alicia Hansen has a plan to bring relief to people who owe the government money by offsetting that debt with money the government owes them.
Many business people have expressed to me that the government owes them money, in some cases in excess of what they owe the government, but still they are confronted by the IRB issues and they're being closed down.
Bill 30-125 seeks to have the Internal Revenue and the Lieutenant Governor's office reduce any money a taxpayer owes by what the government owes that individual.
On the other issues relative to property taxes, where we see people's properties being sold, and in some cases the government owes them retroactive monies or even tax refund, it's only fair that these people's property not being sold when in fact the government owes them.
This week the bill went before the Senate committee, but officials from Internal Revenue said it's not one of the functions they are equipped to handle, and it would be a challenge otherwise, since the government's infrastructure would hamper such an undertaking.
My opinion on the bill, and I made that clear on the legislative floor, is that would have to be a function that's performed by the Department of Finance, not the Bureau, as we do now, because it would be an incompatible function for the Bureau to perform, because we don't have access to all the books and records of the government of the Virgin Islands, and so we would not be in a position to know who are the individuals to whom money is owed.
That's not something Hansen wants to accept.
It is totally unacceptable for our government to come and say they object to the bill on the sole premise that they have technical issues.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
There was a lack of a quorum to vote on the bill Tuesday, so it was held in committee until the next hearing. The Committee on Finance, chaired by Senator Clifford Graham, met with the Government Employees Retirement System to discuss ways to make up losses and review expenditures for the current fiscal year at the Earl B. Otley Legislative Hall Thursday. Austin Nibbs, administrator of GERS, explained that because the total contributions received are about $144.9 million, less than the total benefits and expenses paid, they are operating with a negative cash flow. Nibbs found that the reason for the deficit was partly due to outstanding employer contributions of some $47 million. The committee discussed possible repercussions, including lawful action for those employers who have failed to pay. Police on St. Croix are investigating 3 separate robberies. 2 robberies occurred on October 17th, one in Christiansted and one near Altona Lagoon.
The first robbery occurred just after midnight at the Isaac Bar and Restaurant in Estate Mambiju. Witnesses said several patrons were in the establishment when 3 armed and masked suspects entered and ordered everyone to the ground. The suspects took cash, jewelry, and cell phones from the victims. One victim was kicked in his calf. The victim said one suspect had long locks in his hair and they all wore camouflage pants and jackets. No further descriptions were given of the suspects, who fled the scene in an unknown direction. And later that day, a man and a woman told police that they were sitting in their car at Altona Lagoon at about 4:25 p.m. when a light-colored vehicle drove up to them and 2 armed and masked suspects demanded that they get out of their vehicle. The suspects took gold and silver jewelry from the male victim and about $100 cash. They took the victim's vehicle and fled the area. Police later found the vehicle near Halfpenny Bay. However, it had been stripped of several parts and burned. And on October 15th, a couple reported that they were robbed at Dorsch Beach at about 9:15 p.m. The couple told police that 2 males approached them from behind and demanded everything they had. One suspect stomped on the female's foot and took her purse. The other suspect hit the male victim in his head, causing a laceration. The suspects had shirts covering their faces, according to the victims. The victims did not see any weapons, according to the preliminary police report. These cases will be followed up by the Criminal Investigation Bureau detectives, and anyone with any information on any of these cases are urged to call detectives at 712-6037, 712-6077, 911, or you can call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS and say what you know.
Breathing in clean air is right, but on some days, for some workers located in a section of St. Thomas, clean air seems like a luxury. News2's April Knight finds out what's ailing workers behind the St. Thomas airport.
On certain days, if you drive up to the Cyril E. King Airport on St. Thomas, you can't miss getting a whiff of a foul odor in the air, like something burning. Back here, where cargo companies are located, the smell is even stronger because they're right next to this structure spewing smoke, and it could go on for days.
The smoke coming from the chimney produces a stench that reaches all the way across the parking lot and into these offices behind me, where about 50 people work every day.
Every time smoke comes out of the chimney, all the workers in the surrounding area could smell the stench, but not many are comfortable talking about it in the open. According to some, this has been going on for a long time, and they're worried that it might be a serious health hazard.
There isn't any of us who knows what the long-term effect is going to be, inhaling with whatever it is that is burning over there. It'll be like maybe 4 days in a week. Sometimes it'll happen for months,
According to the Virgin Islands Waste Management Authority, the structure is an incinerator used by Customs and the VI Police Department for burning certain waste materials. But workers in the area say that this should be done after hours, not during the busiest time of the day when more people are bound to suffer from the smell.
If you're going to burn anything, you do it at the end of the day when there's no one present in the building.
The Department of Planning and Natural Resources could not provide comment at this time, but until the burning procedure is changed, the workers behind the airport have no choice but to continue breathing in the acrid air. April Knight for News 2.
As soon as the Department of Planning and Natural Resources comments on this issue, News 2 will give you updates. Well, good news, missing teen Deniva Michelle Worrell was returned unharmed to the custody of the VI Behavioral Services on October 16th by VI Police. According to a report, she was spotted in Frederiksted with a friend near the police station by a VIBS manager and was immediately apprehended. Worrell, age 15, left the girls' group home on the night of October 11th in the company of 2 adult males and a female teen who appeared at the group home without authorization and asked to leave the premises. Apparently, she left the facility through a window with the assistance of 2 males. Well, 7 more agencies have defibrillators in them. St. Croix Foundation's AED Fund Projects organizations donated the automated external defibrillators Thursday at the Cardiac Center. The life-saving heart machines were presented to St. Croix Rescue, the VIPD's Bike Patrol Units, WIM Museum, St. Croix Botanical Gardens, the Dolphin Swim Team, and the Sportsman Center. It brings the total to 34 donated through the AED Fund, which is supported by the community.
An AED is meant for a layperson to use. All you do is turn it on and it talks to you and it tells you what to do. You can't hurt someone with it. It will not shock anyone who does not require shocking. We now have 107 AEDs on St. Croix. 107. And those are just the ones I know about. There's more, but that's pretty good. Because when you collapse from sudden cardiac arrest, the maximum time is 10 minutes from collapse to defibrillation. Your chance of survival decreases by 10% for every minute that passes.
Also, Senator Sanders' staff has been working behind the scenes to make it possible for residents to locate the nearest AED. They put all the known St. Croix locations into CrowdSave, an app for smartphones, since it's important to use an AED within 3 to 5 minutes if someone collapses from sudden cardiac arrest. They urge everyone to download that app. Turning our attention to Washington, thousands of federal workers are back on the job across the country, and museums and memorials reopened after a 16-day partial government shutdown. But lawmakers are already eyeing the new budget deadlines. They set off to end this standoff. Danielle Nottingham is on Capitol Hill with the latest.
Federal workers back on the job cleared away barricades and close signs as they helped reopen parks and monuments.
Hallelujah!
Thousands of staffers for government agencies shut down for the last 16 days made their regular morning commutes. Workers at the National Zoo turned the popular panda cam back on. Tourists lined up early to see the sights and tried to make up for lost time.
In a rush and happy, so before our plane leaves Saturday.
Renee Allen works at the FAA.
I was sick of being in the house.
Allen has been a federal worker for 27 years, and her relief is mixed with concern Congress will let this happen again.
If they would just kind of put themselves in our shoes for a moment, maybe not receive a paycheck, maybe it would hit home for them.
Congressional negotiators sat down Thursday morning to start work on a long-term budget deal.
Understand that how business is done in this town has to change.
Another federal worker returned to wind the clock outside the Senate chamber. Now it's ticking toward the new fiscal deadlines. If lawmakers don't find a larger budget compromise, the government could run out of money again early next year. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Washington.
And keeping our eye on the economy, disappointing corporate earnings from some big-name companies is overshadowing news that Congress agreed on a last-minute deal that reopens the government and temporarily averts the U.S. from defaulting on its debt. Analysts believe the 16-day partial shutdown shaved half a percentage point off U.S. economic growth and cost the government more than $20 billion. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank Stock Market Watch. The Dow down 2, NASDAQ and S&P up, NASDAQ 23, S&P 11. Coming up on News 2 at 10:17 a.m. this morning. Were you one of the group who dropped, covered, and held on? What was the result of this national earthquake drill? We'll be right back. The Department of Planning and Natural Resources has been awarded its annual Drinking Water Infrastructure Grant in the amount of $4.3 million. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency gave out the funding that will continue the administration of DPNR's Drinking Water Capital Improvement Grant Program. This program funds the construction of projects needed to maintain compliance with the Safe Drinking Water Act. The department provides technical assistance to small public water systems throughout the territory, helping protect public health by reducing exposures to contaminants in drinking water. Well, at 10:17 a.m., several businesses, organizations, households, and schools participated in the 2013 Great USVI Shakeout, the largest earthquake drill in the Virgin Islands that encouraged everyone to practice the 3 basic steps that could save a life during an earthquake, which are to drop, cover, and hold on. News 2's Shanika Robinson has more.
In preparation to survive and recover when the next big earthquake hits, the community joined the 2013 Great USVI Shakeout. The Shakeout is the largest earthquake drill in the Virgin Islands that allows individuals to practice 3 basic steps in order to be protected from harm. The drill is also organized in more than 40 states and several countries throughout the world.
The concept is to practice normally what we preach in terms of preparing for earthquake, and where you drop, cover, and hold on to something sturdy.
The drill is very important for the Virgin Islands because our islands lie in an active seismic zone, and the possibility of a strong earthquake occurring is very real.
This morning, we were announced that there was a 7.5 earthquake in the territory. In fact, we were in the process of our EMC meeting, and we were advised to drop, cover, and hold on to something sturdy until the shaking stopped.
Today, several businesses, organizations, and schools registered and participated in the shakeout and practiced the drop, cover, and hold on steps at exactly 10:17 a.m.
We had at least in excess of 2,000 participants throughout the territory, starting with individuals and their families, organizations, faith-based organizations, and schools that participated in this process.
Vitima urges the community to understand the importance of planning in case of an emergency situation, and the Great USVI Shakeout is a perfect example of such.
It reminds us that we got to constantly be vigilant and prepare for an earthquake. We got to continue to practice. We got to continue to exercise and drill this process. The bottom line is to save lives.
Shaniqua Robinson, News 2.
All residents are encouraged to sign up for VI Alert in order to receive real-time updates on emergency situations that may occur. You can visit www.vitima.gov for more information. Well, in honor of World Food Day, Rotarians from the Rotary Club of St. Croix took some time out to feed and serve the less fortunate. The group went to Catholic Charities where they served seasoned rice, roast turkey, scalloped potatoes, and mixed vegetables to the homeless and needy. There was ice cream for dessert as well, all prepared by the Catholic Charities staff. Visiting District Governor for the Rotary, Jeremy Hurst, is in the territory, as NEWS2 reported, and he helped to pass out the meals. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.